am I talking about today? I'm talking about duality. I'm talking about how I think using the awareness of duality can be quite beneficial to your outlook on life and overall how you process and feel about things that are challenging but makes them easier to process. If you zoom out enough, you can kind of view it this way. You can see the perspective that if you go out far enough, we're just one thing occurring, we're the universe, and that separation is an illusion and it's part of kind of the dance of life, that we're not the same. So there's like you and me, there's life and death, there's pain and pleasure, and many more. There's loss and gain, just to summarize it. But it's the same energy, right? I thought for a while you were meant to either disconnect from this game completely, this roller coaster. You can kind of see life going like this. You've got really good days and you have bad days, really good weeks, bad weeks. But I think actually I've come to the conclusion, my own conclusion, which, that's all we have, isn't it, people, is our own perspective on things. We're meant to experience both the ups and downs, right? You're meant to embrace it to the max. As hard as it is, as difficult as it is, when there's something uncomfortable or painful, embrace it for the better of yourself, right? For the better of your own experience, your own universe. It's easy for us to forget and think we're living externally and think you're a part of this outside world, but really your entire perspective, everything you know, is within you and you've absorbed. It's not like you're playing a role outside of yourself. You can actively change your story. You can actually actively change your narrative in life. And it's almost absurd the amount of people who shoot down their dreams and goals and settle for situations where they aren't happy, where they know they want more, but they think they can't do it, right? They think they're not special in some way, but there's nothing that makes the person who does the thing that you want to do special. They've just done it, right? They've just taken the action. So for me, on the path to achieving the things that I want to achieve in life, I've adopted mentalities that for me to get there. So the big one was changing my belief system. I believed for years there's something wrong with me, whether that's from an external perspective. I had constant anxiety, social anxiety, whatever it might be. And the thing is, it's a very common experience, especially for teenagers and children. And you're growing up in a very uncomfortable environment at school, surrounded by other uncomfortable people. And that reassurance that you need comes from within, right? You're never going to have an external thing give you that reassurance, everything's okay and feels correct. And this is the pill to swallow, right? Is when you hear people talking about, you have everything you need right now. And it's so easy, and this is what I used to do as well. It's so easy to dismiss and be like, well, obviously, no, I don't. I want this, I want that. I want a girlfriend, I want a house, I want to live by the sea. Whatever it is for you. And you go, I don't have that. But the point is how you feel. You have everything you need right now to feel the same way. And you can pretty much get there from a few deep breaths and probably meditation if you're quite lost in the source, if you haven't really sat with your own thoughts for a while. And it's becoming more and more difficult for people because we live in an age of such distraction where it's normal to be on your phone 24/7 or staring at a screen 24/7. And then it's normal to go out on the weekends and just get wasted and drunk. So we've normalized not really sitting and just being part of the world, right? Being with your experience, with your thoughts and feeling comfortable with them. And the idea is, you can spend weeks feeling terrible, months, years of your life, you just feel you don't have enough and you're working the job that maybe you don't like. And then on the weekends you get drunk and then you're tired on Monday, so the cycle starts again. I've been through these motions and it's not like you flick a switch and everything's sorted at all. It's more, I like to look at ways to combat it that will benefit me and my life. And I'm just talking about those experiences with you. The point is, if you stopped the endless narrative and dialogue and just took a moment, took some deep breaths, went for a walk in the park and sat by yourself and thought, you would feel such a sense of relief, right? That you think you've been chasing, but you're not getting there. Because you're not going to have that relief because you're not getting to the thing. What you want is the feeling. We want the feeling these things give us when we say we want certain things. It's a feeling of acceptance from ourselves in a way that we're not giving to ourselves, or stability or calmness or, belief or pride or whatever. Like once I do it, I'll believe I can do it. Once I've achieved the thing, but then you're not going to believe in yourself ever until you do it. Do you see the issue with that? You can believe now, it's a choice. So why would you not believe now? Because then you're going to be taking much more aligned steps, much more practical, powerful steps towards your goals than you would have otherwise. We can link it to the distractive nature that we were talking about earlier, the distractive nature that we were talking about, which is it's become acceptable and accepted to constantly feel like we're running away from discomfort. Then you end up kind of stuck in this limbo. So when you don't embrace both sides of duality, you almost become like trapped, right? You stop feeling your full range of emotions. So, if something happens like heartbreak, and then you don't let yourself sit and feel truly broken by it, people might drink, people might just go mental and beg their partner to stay, their whole world's ruined, and these kind of things, instead of sitting with their own feelings on their own and realizing it's only their experience, right? So that can be a hard thing to do because it snaps you back from external to internal. The point I'm trying to make is that when you don't feel that feeling, you then won't swing back fully and in fact further for your next relationship or whatever it might be. So if you block that, if you block yourself experiencing that, you're then going to hold that damage and that trauma and hold it, and it's locked into you now going forward until you deal with it. And that's up to you. It's your choice, right? It's just so easy to unconsciously not deal with it, whatever the thing may be. You were wronged in some way. You feel wronged in some way, but at some point you have to let it go. And this is another thing to do with forgiveness, right? Everyone struggles with forgiveness. It's hard to do, but it's the only way you will ever actually move on, right? And it's this strange thing. Do you want what's best for you, right? So this is what's odd about it. People don't want to forgive. One thing I stick by is forgive, but don't forget, right? It doesn't mean you have to forget and let someone back in your life if they did something wrong to you, or if you feel wronged by them. What it means is you forgive for the sake of yourself. Okay, you're doing it for yourself. So do what it takes for you to forgive, whether that's understand or try and understand, come to your own understanding of the situation, and then move forward with your life. Because a lot of people go their entire lives and they haven't forgiven things that have happened to them when they were children. And they've responded to situations throughout their whole life because they haven't let that go. Maybe it was a teacher told them they weren't good enough, right? And then they've not applied for a job that could have potentially changed their life. And now they've lived their life and they regret it. And they're like, wow, I can't believe I didn't let that go. Do not let that happen to you. It's up to you. Okay. And the main thing you can do is try and be aware of when these things happen and wonder, where did that come from? Why do I feel that way? And don't feed these thoughts. Remind yourself the truth. If you sit there, these thoughts can eat you alive. It's almost like this toxic addiction, this sweet, sickly addiction to thinking of these thoughts of, whatever it could be in your situation, revenge or, there's all sorts. But when you forgive someone, when you choose to understand why someone has done something, it doesn't make it okay. You don't need to align it with your moral compass and say that's completely fine. It means you've come to peace with it and you can move forward, right? If you don't understand something, you're choosing not to, okay? Because you can come to an understanding without needing to know every single detail. So the understanding could be, like, you put it in perspective. Imagine, maybe you were cheated on, and you can understand it as simply as they weren't the person that I was looking for in a relationship, or they weren't ready for a relationship with me. You can expand on things. Again, we have this duality, which ties in with everything. You can make anything as vast and detailed as you possibly want, or you can just summarize it. At the same time, you can make it so simple, and it's just your perspective. Imagine, a microscope that's just zooming in and we're getting to like tiny particles and all the rest. Or you could just say, that's a table. You're correct, that is a table. But also we could list the exact density, the weight, the mass, the measurements. But does it matter to your experience? It's up to you to decide. It depends what you're going through in that moment. But if you are struggling to let go and let it be, that's the best thing to do, is to not dig too deep, especially if you're trying to find a solution in your own head, because you're going to run in circles because there isn't one. So it's up to you. when you decide. You're not going to be given one. And when you chase a solution in your head and you keep thinking on something and you can't let it go, the wound is just reopened and you're just sat there with your open wound, not doing anything about it. So duality again. So what my point with kind of how detailed you can go is you've got the duality again. It can either be so simple or so impossibly complicated. It's either one thing. You zoom out far enough, we're just one thing. If you just imagine like an infinitely far zoomed out, I don't know, telescope, we're just one thing. The universe, everything. We're just one, okay? And then as you zoom in, we've got galaxies, we've got planets. Then you zoom in, we've got life forms, right? So it's doing the same thing, right? There's this constant opposite occurring with everything. I think the most powerful thing is being aware of your feelings, of your thoughts, of your reactions, and acting in a way that will benefit you the most, because there's no cure, there's no like solution to suddenly living a happy life all the time. I think that's crazy. You're not meant to be happy all the time, but what is the most powerful word? What is the most powerful feeling? It's content, right? So being content, if you feel uncomfortable, you can learn to be content with that feeling, and then it fades. So how would you do that? You'd sit and you'd feel it, right? You sit and let those feelings of discomfort and those thoughts flow through you, and not run away and distract yourself, which is what everyone does. Everyone, I'd still do it. Everyone still does it, but you feel so much better and you grow and you change as a person when you sit with the discomfort. Okay. And it can be small, it can be large, but it's just learning to do that. Whereas then we go too far on the opposite end sometimes. And if it's pleasure, we just don't want it to end. We latch onto it. We need more. But you can again do the same, where you can learn to be content with it. So you appreciate that this moment is beautiful, or, it feels great to be doing whatever activity you're doing, but it doesn't mean that's all there is. It's my first time sitting in front of the camera. And I've kind of thought about doing this for a long time, because I have a lot of thoughts and I quite like sharing them with people and seeing what other people think. And there's a select few people in my life who I can kind of connect on that wavelength with, and we will have quite, in-depth discussions and just talk about ideas in general. But I guess it's always interested me to know who else is out there, who else is thinking the same things, or not exactly the same. That's obviously boring, but it's nice to connect with people with kind of a certain outlook on life. And for me, it's seeing things the way they are. It doesn't mean that you have to be detached completely. It's important to remember your authority in your life, the choices you make. You are the universe, so your experience will adapt to you. And it rewards risk takers. Life rewards people who take risks. So do the thing you've always thought of doing. Start working on it now, in whatever form that is. Learn to trust that you will get what it is that you want by doing the things that you need to do. And for me, how I've changed this in myself, and the thing that helped the most, is read other people's experiences. And they're endless. There's absolutely endless experiences. And then it'll take it out of being this kind of whimsical idea where you don't believe it, because belief, again, you need to shift your belief. You need to shift your belief system to know that you can do things, and you will act with much more certainty with everything you do, how you talk and your decisions in general. But look at other people's experiences, specifically read. I mean, there's all sorts of ways you can do it now. You could even get, AI, ChatGPT, and just ask for like 50 examples. People who have achieved their dreams or their goals and they had no evidence beforehand. Look up rags to riches stories or anything. When you look at these examples, creations of things we use in our everyday lives now, they came from nothing. Someone thought about something that didn't exist and they've created it in the world. It really, really does give you a perspective that you can just do what you want to do. You can achieve it. It will not just happen, right? Get your vision just like that. How much does your dream matter to you? How much does your goal matter to you? And the lifestyle and the way you want to be living, right? And then there's this payoff that will have to be made for you to get there. If it happens instantly, guess what? You're going to face other issues that you didn't think were there. So maybe you realize, oh, it doesn't fulfill me at all. And then you have to learn to find what fulfills you in different ways, right? But then you have the journey, which is what life's about. And you have all the trials and tribulations that will get you to become the person you are, who then has the things that you dream about and the things you want. you don't want it to be easy, right? You just don't want that. What's the point? It takes the joy out, it takes everything out of it. It's like playing a video game, and you imagine you just turned it on and you're just playing against like the easiest mode bots ever. And you turn it on and you just get bored. You'd be like, wow, what's the point in this, right? But you're playing online, you're playing against other people, you have to outthink them. There's skill, there's a payoff when you achieve something, because you've put in the work, and it's difficult, and life is the exact same. There's underlying rules. You know, we have the duality that we spoke about, but we have the payoff, which is part of that duality. You can't have one thing without the other. You can't have the pleasure without the pain. So guess what? You're going to go through the pain. It doesn't mean you're just going to be in pain for months and years. No, you're going to have loads of little ups and downs depending on what you're going through in life and other things that you're doing. But you have to become the person that can do that. And you only become that person by having experiences. So the more experiences you have, the more well-rounded you are, the more crafted you are to perfection. You know, the more of these experiences you have that you overcome, that you grow from. And again, to grow from it, you have to lean into the feeling you're having. So if it's a painful experience, you lean into that and you accept it and how you feel, and you move forward. You don't lull and rot on it. And that can be either feeling. That can be pleasure or pain or discomfort or comfort. If you stay with one too long and you lose yourself in it, it's going to end up flipping you back to the other side. Or you can kind of try your best to go with the flow and kind of pick yourself up and move forward again. So, you know, be operating from a place within yourself that's stable. It's interesting, really. It's taken me like 20 minutes to kind of really get in the flow of conversation to where it feels completely normal to talk with a camera without thinking about it at all. Because normally I'd have these thoughts in my head and work through them, or I talk to other people. So, you know, it's a good experience, and I'm looking forward to making more of these videos because they're therapeutic for me as well. So I guess when you start to notice these underlying rules, you could call them, I guess they're just patterns really on how life operates, and you realize that runs through thick and thin, from the smallest interaction to, you know, the lifespan of the universe. You kind of become aware of the rules of the game, and if you're aware of the rules of the game, you can play a bit better, you can play in a way that benefits you more. And I guess the main thing I'd say is, if you're uncomfortable right now, and that could be, you know, minor discomfort, you're just not liking your job, it's been a bit too long, maybe the people you hang around with don't actually feel like they're your friends. Like, why are you hanging around with people that you aren't being your actual self with? Everyone can pretend, everyone does pretend. Okay, we have social masks that we put on, but if you're going to have friends, do you not want them to be the people that you can not have the mask with and you can be truthful with? Because you will build better connections with them than anyone. And don't deny yourself that by playing the game and acting, essentially. That's what it is, you know. Everyone's acting constantly. And the people who act less, you can tell, because they draw you in how they speak, right? You feel like you can trust them more, because they're not pretending. And why pretend? You know, that's part of losing yourself. You've just momentarily had a blip, but who knows how long momentarily is. And you've lost yourself in the game again. You're playing that part. Who do you think you are? I'm just trying to say, do what feels right for you. Don't waste your time with people who aren't true friends. You can have amazing people around you. It's not going to be easy to get there, because you're going to have to lose the people that aren't those people first. And I don't mean cut people off. I don't mean do that. You can. Sometimes that's the best thing to do. I don't know what kind of relationship you have with them. But I'm saying, just in general, if you feel like they're not on your wavelength, when you talk to people, you want to feel heard, right? You want them to hear you and understand what you're saying. If they're dismissive of the things you say, they're dismissive of your goals and your dreams, maybe they constantly latch onto like the past and behaviors that, do you not want people who are pushing you towards your goal? They support you towards your goals, and they want to be there with you in the good moments and in the bad moments, and genuinely be there, right? They're not playing pretend. I don't know why it makes me laugh. I think I'll probably wrap this video up here, actually. But it's been enjoyable conversation. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you'd like more, then I'm going to make more. So, you know, I want to make more videos like this. So yeah, I just wish you all the best in general. And I will catch you soon, I guess. All right, cool.